Okay, everybody. So, what we're doing here is going to talk about the pool foundation that we just poured, and we're looking at the bird's eye view of the foundation, and it's a unique set of plans. It's for an infinity edge pool, and we had to pour it in two sections. And the reason we did that was because of the heights involved and the complexity of the forms. So what we built to start off with is this arc, and it's the lower basin of what the waterfall is going to pour into. And then we also built underneath the main pool slab. So we built this section here, pretty much as grid is what we built. And then, let's see here, we also did, we did this section. So, effectively, this is what we built, is the bottom basin under the pool. Well, when you look at the cross-sectional view of the foundation plans, which is right here by the engineer, we effectively just built this section right here under the pool basin. Well, this is select fill that we could have used, but we decided to use a full concrete solid beam. And the reason for that is this select fill, the engineer didn't look at, and working with the pool designer, they didn't see the infinity edge actually went out on the front of the edge like that. They didn't connect the two pieces of the pool, at least the engineer didn't. And so trying to get these two groups to work together was difficult at best. So what we were going to do was we were just going to add another beam underneath the pool to support the infinity edge. And by doing so, it only left about 2.5 feet of fill material. And trying to bag 2.5 feet of material out of dirt, but concrete around it was impractical. So we decided to fill it with concrete. So this entire beam is full of concrete. That's how we ended up with 5'6" thick of concrete of the beam that went through. So we also, as we built it, that's just the basin where the waterfall is going to pour into. It's a huge structure, but we also continued the beams under the foundation, and that's why we ended up with that grid that you guys see out there right now that looks like a honeycomb. And that's the honeycomb section that you see right here. Each box is like a honeycomb. So then we also filled this in with full concrete all the way around. So we're looking at the section that is going to be, the top portion is about 4.5 feet underneath the pool, and then the rest of the beams are underneath the pool and about, I think it's 11 feet underneath the water level of the finished water level. So when we go walk at it, it's not very pretty, but like I said, it's concrete 11 feet underground. So all we worried about was how structurally strong everything was, and not spending the labor on trying to finish it out like we're going to do on top. So that is the overall pool beam, and when you read the plans and you go into details and you look at what's called out on the plans, you can read all these notes here, all these notes, and along with the information here, it talks about how to build the foundation, the bars. It talks about the reason why we use number 6 rebar, because the beam bars are top and bottom number 6s, and it used number 4s for rebar, intermediate bars between the beams, and then it used number 5 bars for the pad bars is what we're going to be using for the next portion of the pool. And it also talks about a 12-inch slab thickness. And so that's why when the guys start bagging this week, they're going to put a 3'6" bag height and leave a foot for concrete. So there's a method to the madness, and all we've done, even though all this work, is we've just build this section of beam underneath the pool, which is amazing. So we'll walk over there and take a look, and we'll go over that real quick and see if it's something that everyone can understand, from plan view to side view to aerial view. And as we can see, we've got the arc that arcs around, and that's the solid arc of concrete that we have going around as well. And then the beams coming back, they're colored in. That's what we built on these long beams, lateral beams coming back up the grade. And so there's dowels, and you'll see all the steel sticking out, and those dowels come on out because we have another beam sitting right on top of this beam. So the beam will be about 4 feet tall, and this steel will tie into the new pool foundation that sits right above it, which once again is going to be 4.5 feet tall. All this extra steel that you see sticking out, especially that, they had the time to cut it just right when we were building it, but those are 11'3", and that is going to be the overall, right here, the pool infinity edge, where the water kind of comes over and pours into the basin. And so that is the height of the pool. So right where we're standing, our feet are at 11 feet under the water surface right now. And the reason the beams are all sticking up is because it's just an easy way of getting all the steel in place and ready to go, so that when we construct the infinity edge out of the pool and out of the gunite, all we have to do is do the lateral bars now, and we have a very strong shell because it's already built into the foundation of the pool. And so that's why we did all this in this method. And we needed something to stand on because we're standing on this big sand pit, and we dug down 16 feet to get the structural weight of this big pool beam, which we calculated. I finally got the math right, at 920,000 pounds of weight of the pool pushing down on the rock instead of pushing down on the retaining wall. And so you got the pool weight, the concrete weight here, the gunite weight, the water weight, which is actually a live load. It just shifts around as people jumping in the pool. All that water sloshes and moves. It's a lot of weight because water weighs like 6-7 pounds per gallon as it shifts around. And that massive weight is now not on the retaining wall. It's actually down onto the natural bedrock instead of the retaining wall. So even though the retaining wall we built is strong, it's not built to hold up 2 million pounds of structure. Eventually it can have cracks and it could slide out. So that's why we did what we did, and why we're doing it in sequence as we're moving up the hill and getting out of the sand. So the next phase is much easier than what we just did, and then it's going to get even easier and easier as we get to a normal type of pool build, and then we get to a normal house build. And the only little difficulty is building a retaining wall around the perimeter of the house to do the next phase. So that's what we did and why we did it, and hope you all learned something about building a structure to hold up a pool.